Hello everybody, it's your boy Proftrof. Hope you are having a fucking great ass day. And today we're back with another Uber Danger video. This is on his classic leveling. So as a quick recap, he chose Night Elf and he chose Warrior. And if anyone has leveled up Warrior in Classic or TBC, you know what it's like. It's suffering. It's a long, arduous path. But at the end, there is a bright light. Just gotta reach that light. Just gotta reach that light, boy. Anyway, so yeah, he didn't reach any lights. He died a lot. He suffered a lot. He's probably gonna keep dying a lot and suffering a lot. So let's enjoy his suffering.
Trapped deep in Horde territory at merely level 19, you might recall the predicament of self-doubt and absolute fear of failure. But I pushed through it. Because I realized just how far I've come. When I started out, I had nothing. Now, I've turned up the graphic settings and I have a cape. And you happen to have come upon a glorious occasion. You see, it's time for my tuffle with the first major dungeon in our journey, Deadmines. Spend enough time in that.
Watching this, it reminded me how long it took for you to get a helmet while leveling up in TBC. Because I haven't leveled up in Classic, so I don't know if it's probably the same exact shit, honestly. But when was the point you get a helmet at? I don't remember, but that shit was fucking rare as hell.
Azeroth, and you learn to improvise, adapt, and overcome. In the situation you're witnessing, many would make the mistake of helping the fellow Alliance player. I, the intellectual, molded by countless deaths, knows that the only means to an end is getting gear, and lots of gear. Instead of risking it for the biscuit, I make sure to loot this rusty chest for any goods. 25 copper and a broken lock. I make off like a bandit. In this game, you gotta know when to be a hero and when to look out for number one.
When to be a fucking zero.
Azeroth is adventurous and splendid, but in reality, it's a social-political nightmare RP sandbox. You never know what foolish fuckery you might run into.
Fuck.
You may, in fact, spontaneously combust.
What was that? Was that the raid or was it outside of the raid? Because I know there was a raid with those guys that did when I was leveling up. That
foolish fucking social-political nightmare RP sandbox. You never know what foolish fuckery you might run into. You may, in fact, spontaneously combust. Now, the Horde gank was expected, but imagine my surprise when I rezzed the Spirit Healer just to be met by Helcular's remains. A mob so much stronger than me that I see a skull instead of its level. A mob who will chase you down and make you his bitch. You may be surrounded by Horde scum and have them grant you mercy if you wave back, just to get smacked in the back of the head by a troll 2 minutes later. This fucking psychopath just hit me a couple times and watched me get mauled by a wolf. And it is in fact not unusual to have an orc moonwalk on your corpse. As you can imagine, I grew weary of Ashenvale quickly. I took the Hearthstone back to Darnassus. Take note of the high-level spinning technique that my WoW GF taught me.
Insane.
By the way, she hasn't spoken to me in weeks. I wouldn't have long to dwell on it though, because before leaving Darnassus, I was swiftly disconnected, courtesy of Blizzard's patented gruesome servers. After the brief intermission, our journey to Westfall began. I sailed to Darkshore, and from there to Menethil Harbor. Along the way, I pondered life's greatest questions. Why does dual wielding give you a 19% mischance? Why did I choose Noggenfogger for the name instead of the server my friends play on? Why did I get invited to the Nogger Nations Guild? Why did I accept? Are robots gonna take all our jobs? How will we combat climate change, overpopulation, and deal with the threat of AI? When will China start World War III? Why does white monster with rosé wine actually fucking bang? Boomer juice, by the way. Then I flew to Stormwind. And from Stormwind, I traveled on foot to West.
Okay, why is every single YouTuber drinking the fucking white monster? Why? That shit is...
When I arrived at my final destination, Sentinel Hill... I might actually break my fucking monitor. Sentinel Hill. You did it! I have anger problems. I began a series of grueling tasks known as the Deadmines questions.
Yo, I've done the shit out of these. Because for some reason, every time I level up my alliance characters in Lich King or TBC, I hated doing the natural zone, so I was always travel to Stormwind and do these quests, and they're not that nice to you. Okay, the fucking what are they? The scarecrows, they beat the shit out you.
Not difficult in the slightest, just fucking horrid. First I've gotta kill this guy who can be
Brother, you're
anywhere
7
from
levels
here to
over
here
leveled.
patrolling. Mind you, there's lots of people in this quest and you're more likely to run into his corpse. Then I travel halfway across the world to deliver a letter. There's literally a mailing system in this world, so I don't see why that would ever be necessary. By the way, it's 4 letters, not 1. And it's back and forth in different places. Follow that up with an escort mission.
This one sucked.
And you have the unholy trifecta of gruesome game mechanics. Now pay close attention, alright?
Hashtag
1:20 a.m. I met Mike Miller and bought 40 loaves of bread. It was at this point that I was ready to bust down the Deadmines dungeon. Now the question is, how did I end up at 4:20 a.m. still not having completed the dungeon at a naked gnome twerk party of all places?
Very big boy.
Well, this is what happened. First, we got a group together that seemed to have a decent shot. We had a tank, a healer. It was good times, happy vibes, and smiles all around. We started making our way into the Deadmines just before the weekly realm restart. What I would consider to be our first crucial mistake. We decided to meet up again in half an hour. When we all logged on, our tank Glowin was missing, and a paladin offered to be our 5th. Without hesitation, I invited Fuck to the party. 2 minutes later, our tank came online and said that he was on the way. Our group was in disarray, unsure how to proceed, and in need of leadership. They looked to me for guidance. I suggested a democratic vote, and to quote myself, I vote we just do it with the current party, 'cause I'm a bit of a cunt. This was our second crucial mistake. You see, Glowin was loyal and determined, strong but gentle. Fuck, on the other hand, was an irredeemable bastard. He needed for the blue drop even though it wasn't an upgrade for him, got it, then proceeded to pull an entire room of mobs, get our whole party killed, and immediately leave us with no tank at 4 a.m. This was the karma we got for
Oof. Your fuck is a piece of shit. And I spit for some reason.
turning our backs on Glow.
Yeah, I'm small, I spit,
some
boy.
would argue that I could have tanked, but I wanted to dual wield with a 19% miss chance, so you can see why that wasn't on the table. It was
So
here
he
late
decided
at
to
night
do
that
0
Hellmistress
damage.
and I got to know each other. We had a hell of a good time waiting for the rest of the party. Our Chad Warlock Ninpu sat down to enjoy the show, and he had but one thing to say.
That boy's 23.
So who do we invite?
Boy's level
Very
23.
good question.
What's he doing here?
I pulled in the only alpha male in sight for a private show in the minecart. You gotta do what you gotta do to keep the party together at 4
true.
a.m. Even if that means saving Azeroth with your ass. I knew I was killing it when he uttered, "Maximum comfy." Not long after, our gnome Avery overreached and presumed that he could take a front row seat. I immediately scolded him and told him to know his place. When he then rudely requested that Hellmistress danced for him up close, I immediately knew that we were gonna have a fucking problem here. We stripped him naked and made him dance for our amusement.
Hail to the night!
Admittedly, he was a pretty good jester, although that didn't stop Hellmistress from leaving due to the severe social misstep by the gnome scum. Luckily, she was easily replaceable. Then an hour passed, and we had yet to find a tank. We were collectively about to give up, but then Muffy appeared out of nowhere, as sent from the heavens. 5 a.m., cock in hand, ready to rumble. We were gonna give Deadmines a third shot. What ensued was nothing less than perfection. We all knew this was the last run of the night, our final opportunity to not feel like we just wasted our lives to watch a gnome twerk. Then came the moment of pre-traumatic stress disorder, also known as anxiety, when we opened the door to the room we wiped in, which we then obliterated with calculated primal fucking hatred. The game actually has elements of genuine strategy at this point. Having played for over 50 hours, I realized the experience of standing and hitting has strategy at this point. Having played for over 50 hours.
Boy, you better not have played for 50 hours and being level fucking 21. Yeah. I assume he means something else, okay.
I realized the experience.
Maybe he's got like 40 hours on an
actually
alternative
improved by a
account.
significant
Something
margin.
like that.
I'd love to tell you a little about the lore of this dungeon and the Defiance.
By the way, I'm drinking coffee and I didn't have any sugar left, so I decided to throw some honey inside of the coffee without milk. Not a good decision, okay.
Gang, but to be honest, I didn't pay attention, not even a little bit. These guys are also in Hearthstone though, so I reckon that's probably where the devs took inspiration from. Then we find gunpowder and bust down this door with a massive cannon.
You there, check out that noise.
And that's when we hear Mr. Smite for the first time. Slowly but surely, we methodically take out all the things in the way of my goal, completing my first dungeon.
I can taste it.
When you walk up on Mr. Smite, you get ambushed. Now for a casual group of WoW enthusiasts, this part is actually rather difficult, but for a group of war-hardened fucking animals up at 5 AM, it really is benign and laughable. Notice the perfect coordination. I aggro the two mobs and the healer focuses on keeping me alive, whilst Muffy takes on the big guy. We make quick work of the two weaklings and then focus the full blunt force of our emotional instability on the Don, the big cheese, Mr. Smite. Also canonically referred to as Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide!
Oh, now you're making me angry.
Now he's angry, so he pulls out the ultimate weapon, Smite's Hammer. Something he should have done from the beginning rather than right before dying. But I digress.
True.
Against all odds, the hammer actually fucking drops, and I can tell it's a massive stat upgrade for me. Now let me explain how item drops work in dungeons. You can either greed, need, or pass. If all...
And you always need, okay? Trust me, you always need. Or not like you always need on the item, but you always need the fucking item, okay? So it's kind of like, who? He definitely needed that shit. I mean, who? They have... Okay, so it's either him or the tank. No one else in their team can equip the hammer. Rogues cannot equip two-handed weapons. They have two fucking casters. They don't need this shit. So it's either him, the DPS, or the tank. Now, if you use normal logic, you should get the weapon. But I assume the tank rolled as well, so let's see.
5 players greed, each of them roll a number, and the one with the highest number gets the drop. If any players need, then it's a roll between those players, because that takes priority. One by one, I saw all my comrades in good faith press greed,
Wow.
not need. There I stood, with the power in my...
Oh, you fucking idiot. You fucking idiot. Did you greed? You dummy. Please tell me you clicked the need.
my hands. It was up to me. I'd never had a blue item before.
Bro, this will help him so fucking much for the next like 5 levels probably, maybe more. I don't know how good this item is exactly. It looks fucking good.
And the choice was
Don't
mine.
fuck it up.
It was so tempting,
Don't
yet I
fuck it
recall
up.
a promise I made to myself a long time ago. That I would live a kind, humble life of self-reflection and morality. I press greed. And with absolute vengeance and fury, roll a 72 to receive Smite's hammer.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a salty loser, but I am one hell of a cunty winner. I make sure to inform the others that he who greeds as the 5th man has a good heart. As we make our way up to the final challenge, Edwin Van...
He's not even using the
Actually,
hammer.
it's at this very moment that the
The
game
fuck?
starts playing Jornio's theme. I'm pleasantly surprised they licensed that into WoW Classic, but it definitely hypes you up for the final battle. After blowing him a kiss and waving at him, it's time to stop the fun time happy hour and enter go mode. Now I knew shit was going sideways when Muffy fell. When the mobs then started targeting our healer,
Ooh.
I did the only sensible thing.
Ooh.
Ignore it entirely and focus on the boss.
Okay.
I managed to take him down while our healer got slaughtered. But I'm an optimist. I can always see the positive side, like how the gnome scum fell shortly after. It was then up to me and our Chad Warlock, who actually, now that I look back at the footage, is a rogue and not a warlock. But I'm not doing it over.
Oh, sure.
Besides the point.
Why
Whatever.
you say warlock
It's up
then?
to me and Ninpu, the higher intellects of the group, who dual-wield one-handed weapons with a 19% miss chance. And I can't think of any reason why our DPS would be inadequate. Surely the healer and tank are at fault for dying.
Bro, go
here.
behind them.
Finally, we prevail.
Oh, cool.
Just to see Edwin Van Queef drop a sick set chest piece.
Ooh,
Ninpu
shit.
selects need. I select need. Eliatra selects need. And our brainlet gnome player selects greed. Ninpu rolls a 10. Eliatra rolls a 69. Yours truly? Fucking 80! Boom! Real gamer hours.
I swear to God, this is so realistic. The trash always gets the best items. Like, I'm not saying he's trash, but I'm also not saying he's doing decent in this raid. Okay, he's over leveled. He's the second highest level, but it's a leather chest piece. Okay, true. He's a warrior, early levels, but they also have a druid, I think, healer, and a rogue. So I don't know, buddy. I can't believe he fucking needed on the leather chest piece and not needed on the twin weapon that he needed.
Ninpu says fuck my life and rage quits. And there I stood, entirely fulfilled, in pure pleasure, waiting for the others to return. Dare I say, chillin' like a villain. My comrades return, and we agree to kill the cookie monster. However, I proceed to fall down and aggro all these mobs. The boydom came to the rescue, but I know a losing battle when I see one. I make my escape down the only path available to me, and run for my fucking life. Being chased by goblins, bandits, and murlocs, I can't help but feel that I should have been the one to resurrect and walk 15 minutes to my corpse, and they should have been the ones to escape. But of course, there's no need to cry over spilled milk. In World of Warcraft, the day-night cycle is the same as real time, and as I exit the dungeon, I see the sun rising. See? It's not all that different from real life. I hand in the Deadmines quest and go repair my armor, then take a small detour to the Ironforge Weapons Master so that we can skank out with this new hammer. By the way, using a weapon class for the first time gives the phrase, a swing and a miss, a whole new meaning. After testing out Smite's hammer, I went back to the place that made me realize World of Warcraft is indeed a fucker's game. Ashenvale, the Los Angeles of Azeroth, and from there I journeyed into uncharted territory, the Stone Talon Mountains. It was time for the Horde shitheads to pay the price of being on the wrong side of history. I had a blast murdering these fucking losers time and time again. There's nothing quite like seeing a man die.
Oh! He did 300 damage. Jesus.
Here we go again. And walk all the way to his corpse just to get obliterated again. Forcing them to reset the spirit healer, breaking all their equipment by 25%, and providing them with an unfortunate resurrection sickness that makes them 75% weaker for 10 minutes.
Oh wait, what the oh, that was a mob. Okay, that was a priest.
You get to make other people waste so much fucking time, and in a manner that's intensely aggravating. It's fucking sick. Unfortunately for me, I would at this point come to learn that what comes around goes around. The players I'd been tormenting ended up grouping up and spreading the word of my misdeeds. Considering I was the only Alliance player in this area, I now went through retribution of the highest caliber. When leaving the area after numerous deaths, I thought that my peril for the night was over. God, was I wrong. I went into a cursed land known as the Charred Vale, just to complete one simple quest. There are these 4 mobs, and I gotta kill 7 of each. Simple enough, right? Except for the fact that the Charred Vale is packed to the brim with Horde players. So the experience goes a bit like this. Find and kill one of the mobs, and then I die, courtesy of some cunt Horde player. Got it. Then I walk all the way to my corpse, and repeat. Sometimes the experience is actually a bit different and varied, because I'll also just die to the mobs. I should have just given up, but for whatever reason, I was hell-bent on finishing this godforsaken.
Why is he in these zones though? I don't understand why he keeps switching zones every like 2 seconds. Just level up your fucking character, buddy. Go the normal way. I don't understand.
My corpse. The World of Warcraft has really diverse gameplay, you know? You never know if you're gonna die to the Horde gank, or the mobs, or the very Blizzard servers themselves. It took me an hour and a half. I went through this bullshit until 4 a.m., at which point I left the Stone Talon Mountains to never return. Now, you might recall a certain apathy regarding the fact that I can only fight one mob at once. But after 70 hours of game time, you can do 70. You fucking murlocs! Notice how I level up right before dying to the last murloc. I consider that one of my more precise calculations. Interestingly, I had to play for over 70 hours before being able to take on more than one enemy at a time. And I can't do that very often, considering retaliation is on a half-hour cooldown. And you might still just fucking die. This is a fucker's game. Yet, it's a fucker's game.
Why didn't you kill the
with
healing
one
wall, buddy?
redeeming quality. This gnome wanted to buy an axe off me for 1 gold. He then realizes mid-trade that he doesn't have 1 gold at all. I tell him I'll hold on to the axe for him until he gets the money, on the premise that he takes all his clothes off and fills out the only appropriate function in society for a gnome, dancing naked for my amusement. Did I ever end up selling him the axe?
Okay, everybody. Let me know what y'all think, okay? Let me know what y'all think. I don't remember my leveling up ever taking 70 hours in TBC. I remember it was slower than Lich King, I think, but it wasn't that slow, right? I remember leveling up in Outline was a little bit of a bitch. Like 60 to 70 was kind of a grind, but before that I don't remember that being that hard. Then again, I've never played Classic, so I don't know. Maybe they changed some shit. Anyway, let me know what y'all think, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Oh yeah, Patreon. Quick thank you to the Patreons. Pedro Martinez, Commands, Con Rob Air Prince, Zeta, Swastatic, Furious Chicken. Oh yeah, and we'll be doing a stream today. So tune into that shit probably like in an hour or two after I upload the videos. So yeah. Bye bye, everybody.